Actually, it was very easy for me because I got saved at University of Waterloo, and the church there, it was on mission, was to reach out to students and create a family environment, a Christian environment. So right from the beginning, I was discipled. I was saved in mission outside of a church kind of surrounding. So my DNA, it's interesting, has always been on mission. And Matthew 28 talks about, God commands us to go into all the world and preach everything that he commanded us, and he is with us forever. Make disciples of all nations. So that was a very easy thing for me. And anybody who knows me goes, yeah, Bev's always been on mission. If it's not a mission of writing a book, it was a mission of being involved in the pro-life movement. And then it was involved in healthy relationships because I saw a need, and you jump into that need. God, every one of us that's born is on mission and has a commission from God. And I don't think it takes a lot to figure that out, because there's needs all around us. Even making a meal for people that are shut in during COVID is part of that mission. And so that's what I've been doing my entire life. What I wasn't expecting is, after the age of 65, when I thought I'd go back to university and work on my PhD and bug the professors, that God had another mission for me to do. My mission was different than his, and so he had to recalibrate me. And so now I'm working with as ambassador to the First Peoples of Canada. So the most amazing thing is seeing God at work during COVID. And a year ago, we saw, Chris and I saw that the summertime was about the only time there was freedom to travel. And I had a few friends that traveled in RVs, women, and I thought, wow, if we could get an RV and take some Indigenous women and travel across the country and visit reserves. We have our own facility, our own bathroom, our own shower. We can meet outside. There were no meetings or gatherings. It was simply to encourage the burned out men and women working on the front lines in the Indigenous communities. So it took a year of planning and praying, and there was a lot of humming and hawing, even at Crossroads. Well, is this the right thing to do? Is this really God? But it became very evident when, after the May long weekend, when the 215 missing were revealed at the Kamloops residential school. And we added that to our trip. So we had James Bay Cree, a Métis, a Mohawk from Six Nations, myself, Heinz 57, and a Taino, which was the tribe that Christopher Columbus first met. 5 women from 5 nations traveling across 5 provinces, 3 weeks, 21 days in an RV. And God showed up everywhere we went. We had grace and favor. Even the chief, the band council would say, don't go to the church and pray, come to the band office and pray. The chief brought his wife for prayer. That's never happened. Anytime we go to reserves, we usually go to the ministry center, the church, the community, kitchen, whatever is our connection. But this time during COVID, they were so desperate for connection. Our very presence brought healing into their spirits. And when we were on the residential school, it was no cameras, nothing, but we got to walk where nobody else had been allowed to walk, through the orchard where you saw the flags of the missing. And we prayed. That's all we did. We came to pray, release the children, to bring healing across the land. 9 reservations, 3 residential schools later, and then we came back. And like I say, it was the first church service opening, the first dinner opening, the first camp that we were there. Everywhere we went, it was opening up the West, and we saw God's hand everywhere we went, and not one stone chip on this 2021 RV that we got to take. So 10,848 kilometers later. So we're still processing. We saw God's mighty hand on that. And when we got into Kamloops, it hadn't rained since they discovered the 215 missing. We had the appointment with the chief, sent a delegate, and it started to rain. Temperature was in the 80s. They had all these fire warnings. We were still able to go. It started this warm, warm rain, and they had a big canopy for us. And Ted, who is our guide, he stood out in the rain, And he said, we've been praying for rain. Your presence here is bringing this warm rain upon the land and healing. And so we saw God's hand every second of the day. And for 5 women to live in 30 feet for 24/7, that was a miracle on its own. Number one, just follow your passion. What do you love doing? If you love baking, then bake, because there's all kinds of shut-ins during COVID that would really appreciate a meal, even if you can't visit with them and you have to leave it at their door. What do you love doing? And God will show you, because we are called to mission until he takes us home. And as long as we have a breath, we are to be on mission as part of the Great Commission. And so I don't believe it's a difficult thing at all, whether it's knitting. We have seniors at a church in Brampton, and they're knitting blankets, and they were knitting basically for babies and baby clothes. And then, but some of these seniors were asking for these handmade blankets, elders, 70, 80, 90 years old, and they'd wrap themselves in these hand knitted blankets and somehow feel love and healing. So everybody has a gift that God has given them. There's a spiritual one and a physical one, and everyone has a call and a mission, and it's not hard. I dare you to tell me you don't know what you can do.